This is Matt Fury with Avid here at NAMM 2020, joined by our very special guest, Grammy-winning producer, mixer, engineer, DJ Swivel. He's worked with the biggest names in the business, Beyonce, BTS, Kanye West, Jay-Z, and he's got some very special stuff he's sharing with us here at this year's NAMM. Swivel, tell us a little bit about what your presentation was all about, this very exciting product you're bringing to market.
So yeah, this year was unique in that I've developed my first plugin, and it's called The Sauce. And so, you know, typically when I've spoken, I always want to show my workflow, my creative process, kind of what I do and why I do it, I guess. And in this case, I brought a song that I wrote, and I actually, part of the creative process, I used my own product in a number of different ways, and so I was sort of showing off the versatility of it. And The Sauce is, I call it a vocal seasoner. It's a multi-effects processor, but aside from just vocals, it's great on drums, it's great on basses, it's great on synths, and it's great as a reverb, and it's great as a delay. And it's sort of one of these like tools that you just kind of throw it on. If you have a sound that you don't know what to do with, you throw it on, and I promise you, you will, like, it will come up with something. One of the presets is going to be great, and you will love it. So yeah, it does pitch and format shifting, there's distortion, there's reverbs, there's delays, there's stereo imaging. It's multi-band, so you can do 3 different bands of pitch shifting, 3 different reverbs, 3 different delays, 3 different distortions. So there's a lot of cool stuff in it. Yeah.
And it's, you know, for all the stuff that it does, it's deceptively simple, because as I was watching your presentation, I was looking at it like, that looks pretty easy to use. A lot of these plugins seem very complex. In this case, yours seem pretty straightforward. What was it that led you to design this plugin the way that you did, and why was it you created it?
Well, to be honest, because I'm like, I hate using products that there's so much detail in it, and sometimes that's great and you can get some really powerful effects from it, but a lot of times it's just intimidating, and like you want to quickly throw something on and get a sound and then get back to being creative. I hate sitting and fiddling with a plugin too long. So rather than like adding a reverb that you have complete control over every parameter of the reverb, I designed the reverb settings and algorithms to be things that musically felt good to me. And so it's like there's 3 different options. You have a small, a medium, a large reverb. And the idea is that you can quickly get to a sound that feels really good and natural, and you don't have to fiddle around it with too much. It's like I've designed the effects. It comes from my ears and what I do. And all you have to do is decide how much of it you want, you know?
So it sounds like a plugin that it's for all seasons. You could use it in every different kind of environment for all kinds of different reasons. Is there a prescribed way that, you know, whether it's The Sauce, your plugin, or any others where like, okay, I don't introduce plugins into, pardon the pun, the mix until I get to this certain point, or is there just a best practice for you in terms of how you incorporate plugins?
It totally varies. So my creative process when I'm writing a new song is like, usually I don't make a full beat and then try to write a song. It's usually like a chord progression and maybe some drums, maybe a bass, and then I just start humming melodies and coming up with melody ideas and how can the vocals sit, and then typically we'll write a song. We'll, you know, me and many collaborators I'm working with, we'll finish a song, we'll write the lyrics, we'll write the melody, and we'll finish it. And then once I have the song and the chord structure, then I build out the production. And so, of course, when you're writing and recording vocals, yeah, you're gonna probably have some plugins on it along the way. But then in the production process, then you really get to start tweaking and fiddling and finding those unique sounds that make your song sound different and stand out. And that's kind of always been my process, is like typically mixing and production is after writing the song.
So as I said, you've accomplished so much at a relatively young age, and when you gave your presentation, a lot of young people coming up to you asking you questions about, you know, how you do the things you do. When you're talking to, or when you know, I'm sure you get asked a lot of times to come in and listen to a mix, or just sort of lend your ears and your advice to somebody. What are the kind of mistakes you see young mixers, producers making early on, you know, that they just don't understand? Like, you know what, that's an easy trap to fall into, but that's not the way you should be doing this.
Well, a lot of times when I get demo mixes, that's a great way to see it, because you have these super talented producers who, you know, they make great stuff, but maybe, you know, they haven't spent the same amount of time in mixing. I find that a lot of producers will just overdo it, use too many plugins. Like, I see these chains, you know, every track has 5 plugins on it, and that tends to be unnecessary. I find if it's well produced and you pick good sounds and you record it well, you shouldn't need that much stuff. So that's one of the things. I also see a lot of people especially on the master bus, just going overboard with the compression and really just crushing the dynamics of their mix. It sounds loud, but it might sound a little distorted, a little brittle. And so I try to like go for a really more dynamic mix and not go too heavy on the master fader stuff. So those are two areas that I see a lot. Yeah.
So have you been able to, you're very busy here at the show, obviously giving a lot of presentations about your new plug-in, the Sauce. Have you been able to look around at all in the Avid booth and check out anything? Is there anything new that you're like keying in on, like, okay, maybe I want to incorporate this in my production process?
I have. Well, I saw the Matrix, was it the new Matrix Studio stuff, which is really cool. And I haven't tried it yet, but I guess there's a new version of Pro Tools, which you guys told me about, and but I've been running around today, so I obviously have to check that out, and yeah, excited for when that comes out. Yeah.
How do you find the time as a working producer and engineer and this comes up a lot. It's like there's always new trends, new techniques, new technology, but you're busy working. You get in a groove and you get a process that works for you. Is there ever this hesitance to like, you know what, I got something that works, I don't want to incorporate new stuff, or are you just like, you know what, I'm going to be fearless, and anytime there's something new, I'm just going to jump right in?
I mean, when you're talking about new products that come out, for me, it's like, I'm not really, I hate to say it even as an engineer producer, I'm not like a gearhead, so to speak. I really care most about the creative process. And so for me, I have the things that I like and that I work with. But then, I collaborate with a lot of friends, and a lot of times it's my producer friends and engineer buddies who like put me on to, oh, have you tried that new plugin? Or, oh, have you seen these new set of speakers? Or, whatever it is, this new interface that came out or this new microphone. And that's how I sort of hear about it. And then a lot of times I get to come to a place like NAMM and check it out and mess with it. And yeah, so I'm constantly adding new product to my workflow, but it usually happens organically. I'm not like, I don't spend every Monday searching for what's new, Well,
that's really cool. I think it's something that you wouldn't expect. There's a lot of professionals like yourselves that are really established. You would think they would have these trade secrets, like, I figured out this special thing that I do that makes me unique. But, guys like you are just like, you know what, I want to share, I want to collaborate, I want to teach you about how I do what I do, and that's a really cool thing. The man's name is DJ Swivel. The product is the Sauce. For more cool stuff like this, there are going to be presentations here at NAMM. If you're here in the area and you're coming to the show, you're going to come to the Avid booth, see DJ Swivel, check out the Sauce. And if you're not, just pay attention to Avid on social media. We've got all kinds of great presentations coming for you, and just stay tuned. Thanks, DJ Swivel.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.